The following program is sponsored by the Medicine Center Pharmacies.
Good morning and welcome to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. I'm your pharmacist, Paul White. We're very glad you joined us this morning. Before we begin, I'd like to thank our sponsors, Mercy Medical Center, Studio Arts and Glass, and of course, with us this morning is technical producer J.D. DeAngelis. In the studio with me is Brad White, compounding pharmacist and vice president of Medicine Center Pharmacies, and our very special guest, Joyce Himebaugh, RN, program manager, Mercy Trauma Center. Good morning, Joyce.
Good morning.
Summertime is trauma time. It is well documented that emergency room visits spike during the summer months. From the first signs of the days getting longer, like today, until the school is back in session, visits to the ER increase by 15 to 27%. Factors like this of increased time outdoors and doing chores can only be done during warmer weather months, increase the likelihood of accidents, burns, and other injuries. This morning we're going to discuss prevention and tips to keep us out of the ER this summer. We'd like to remind our listeners that today's program is available on our podcast, which can be downloaded from the App Store on your mobile phone. Look for Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy, and you can listen to any of our programs anytime. If you have questions you'd like answered today, post them up on our live Facebook feed.
Joyce, please introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your responsibilities at Mercy.
Good morning. I'm Joyce Himebaugh. I'm the trauma program manager at Mercy Medical Center. We are a Level 2 verified trauma center. I am the person who manages a staff of people who make sure that Mercy stays a Level 2 trauma center. We do the behind-the-scenes work, making sure that our patients get optimal care.
So you do not see patients?
I occasionally do.
Yeah.
I will go down to the ER when we call a trauma and assist the emergency department in caring for that patient.
Okay. So as a trauma center manager, what does trauma serve? What do you do? I mean, why are you separate from the rest of the emergency room? Are you or aren't you? Or
we are separate from the emergency department. What our job entails is performance improvement. We review every trauma case to make sure that everything was done appropriately, that the patient receives optimal care. And if there are issues with any case, then we correct those issues to make sure that it doesn't happen again.
Okay. So, Level 2 trauma center, what does that mean to me and what does that mean to listeners, community?
Being a Level 2 trauma center means that we go through a rigorous review by the American College of Surgeons Committee on Trauma. They come in every 3 years and review our program to make sure that everything is up to speed and that we're doing things appropriately. We have special resources, specialized physicians that take care of trauma, specialized educated nurses that take care of trauma patients. Level 1 trauma centers are your resource centers. They have the most resources. And then Level 2 trauma centers are not really a step down because we are expected to perform just like a Level 1 trauma center. We just may not have all the resources like hand implantation, for example.
So Level 1 means more staff, more specialty staff? No?
More specialty staff, more specialty physicians.
In the building or available?
In the building for Level 1s.
Okay.
Ours are available.
Okay.
So, Joyce, you're here to talk about summer safety today, and I guess it might be an interesting discussion. I'm almost curious how this year has been different than last year, if it has, given our rainy weather. But I'm guessing you see an increase in summer-related injuries. I'm thinking car accidents, motorcycle accidents, bumps and scrapes from kids falling on the playground, maybe. What do you guys see from June to August, typically?
We do see a lot of sports-related injuries, car accidents, motorcycle accidents, falls. Our biggest population of trauma patients are falls, especially in the elderly. They're getting out more in the summertime, so we see more falls with them also.
You know, I'm going to take the opportunity, if you don't mind, indulge me. You know, often when we talk to patients in the pharmacy that are getting older, I hear that, well, I'm getting older, I have a tendency to fall more, and that's normal. That's not normal. So I don't know if you have anything you want to add to that, but I just want to add that don't take it as an affront to consider a cane or a walker to help you be stable, because if you fall and break a bone, it's really going to be difficult to recover and return to the quality of life that you want and are used to. So
right. Like you said, falls in the elderly are not normal. If you are elderly and you fall, you should be checked by your physician. They have examinations that they can do. They can look at your medications to see if that may be causing your fall. They look at balance, and there are programs that they can refer you to for balance if that's a problem. We have a couple programs at Mercy specifically for balance. Our Matter of Balance program and our Tai Chi program are geared towards the elderly and their balance and preventing them from falling. Also, you need to look at things in your house and hazards like rugs, not having grab bars, that type of thing.
You don't realize how those rugs can jump up and cause some problems, so that's a really good tip. So, excellent. Well, most of us think that summer months mean long sunny days and beautiful weather, and we hope that that's a change given how nice it is today. What do summer months mean to the trauma and emergency room department employees?
It usually means that they become busier. We see a lot more injuries, a lot more falls, like I said, car accidents, those type of injuries.
Okay. And, people travel more during the summer months to vacations and to visit relatives. Is the stats for automobile accidents higher in the summer, too?
Yes, it is higher in the summer. People are out more, traveling more. So, yes, it is higher.
What about tips you can share for people who like to drive through the night and maybe try to get to their destination as fast as they can while their kids are asleep in the back seat? What can you speak to for safety in that regard?
Did you know that 40% of all fatal car accidents occur at night?
Wow. No, I did not.
Yeah. There is 60% less traffic on the roads, but there's that increase in the number of fatal accidents because it's more difficult to see at night. It's darker. You have the headlights coming at you. So there's a higher risk of having a car accident at night.
Now, one of the things I forgot to ask the guests regarding emergency rooms and stat care centers was, years ago in Ohio, I think we had a law that if you were on a motorcycle, you had to have a helmet. And I think that law kind of went away. And you see these guys flying down a highway. I'm doing a speed limit, and they're flying by me at 10, 15 miles an hour faster than I'm going. And what's the head injury percentage or motorcycle compared to car accidents?
It's way higher for motorcycle accidents if you're not wearing a helmet.
Yeah.
And there's no helmet law in Ohio. I would just stress to use good judgment.
There is no helmet law in Ohio, but there is a requirement for anybody under the age of 16 on a motorcycle to have a helmet on.
Okay.
If you have a temporary or learner's permit, you have to wear a helmet. And if the driver of the motorcycle is required to wear a helmet, any passengers with that driver have to have a helmet on.
I see. The person on the back. Does the person in the back always have to wear a helmet if there's two people on a motorcycle?
No. Only if the driver is required to wear a helmet.
I think it's crazy. I'm flying down the highway and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, if you got in a wreck, your body would slide 100 miles down the road.
Right.
So, and I'm sure you've seen those come in. Terrible damage to the head and the body and everything connected to the head, So.
Right.
Well, where are we, Brad, on this comparison? Have we done any comparisons with the trauma center and or a regular emergency room? If you're a level 2, this isn't the right way to put this, but what's an ordinary emergency room? Are they inspected? Or are they?
No, they are not inspected.
I hate to call it ordinary. Just if it has no regulation status for not a better whatever. Certainly, there are things that they have to do to.
They are required to submit their data to the National Trauma Data Bank. They can take care of patients if they walk in, but by law, EMS, if you come in by ambulance, EMS has to take patients to the nearest trauma center.
I see.
If they have an injury.
Okay.
Okay.
And probably that happens more frequently than we know. I mean, a small hospital could not own whatever the equipment that the Mercy would have, or larger trauma centers.
Right.
It's just everything is so expensive. Is the cardiac part of your emergency room? I understand you have a pretty sophisticated cardiac department, and they can do cath right in the emergency room, that sort of thing.
Yes.
Is that part of your responsibility?
No, it's not.
Okay.
They have a separate person that takes care of that certification.
Okay. I guess it's time for a break. You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy.
You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy and your hosts, pharmacists Paul White and Brad White. Remember, you can get more information right now by visiting medshoprx.com. That's medshop.rx.com. We'll be back with more of Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy in just a moment.
Have you heard about Tap On It? It's a new way to get great coupons on your smartphone from all types of vendors. Hi, Paul White for the Medicine Center Pharmacies. So you text the words Tap On It, that's Tap On It, TAPONIT, 82928. Tap on the link that comes up, and up comes your coupons. The Medicine Center Pharmacy coupons are buy $30 worth of merchandise at the Medicine Center Pharmacy and get $10 off. You can also earn a free first aid kit. This is a great way to save money. Tap on it at the Medicine Center Pharmacy.
With a heart attack, every second counts. Every moment the blood supply to your heart is cut off or reduced leads to heart damage or death. Mercy Medical Center can stop a heart attack in record time. Mercy is the only hospital in the nation that can open a blocked artery right in the ER, just minutes after arrival, saving lives and preventing further heart muscle damage. That's because Mercy's Emergency Chest Pain Center was America's first to achieve full accreditation and the first to install a fully functional cardiac catheterization lab just a few steps away from our ER doors. The average time in the U.S. from ER arrival to opening of a blocked heart artery is 64 minutes. At Mercy, thanks to our ER cath lab and the area's most experienced emergency heart care team, it's faster. We're capable of opening a blocked artery in as little as 5 minutes. If you have heart attack symptoms, get to Mercy. We can stop a heart attack in record time. To learn more, visit cantonmercy.org/heart.
Men like Paul White love Studio Arts and Glass. Why? We wrap all of his gifts. Gifts like hand-blown paperweights, ornaments, jewelry in stunning sterling silver and precious stones like amethyst and crystals. After 30 years, Studio Arts and Glass is known for creating and restoring stunning stained glass. Just ask Paul White. Studio Arts and Glass on Apple Grove and 77 in North Canton.
Are you tired of spending time sorting your medication? Hi, pharmacist Paul White for the Medicine Center Pharmacy. A locally owned Health Mart pharmacy, whether you are a caregiver or personally take medications, our pill packets will change how you take your medication forever. Instead of multiple pill bottles, you'll want to receive one easy dispensing box that contains all of your medications in individual packets. Organized by date, time, with instructions clearly labeled, it's simple, convenient, and safe. Call or stop by your local Medicine Center pharmacies in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, and New Philadelphia, where wellness begins. Welcome back to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Brad and I are talking with Joyce Himebaugh, RN, Trauma Manager at Mercy Medical Center. Have a question, post it on our live Facebook feed. So, for listeners planning on driving far distances this summer, and of course, the weather and road washout, that's not even part of what we're talking about today, but so many places are having flooding and stuff. What advice do you have for them to stay safe on their travels?
Make sure that you get a lot of sleep before you drive, would be one thing. Drive the speed limit. Everybody wants to get there quickly, so they...
Does anybody drive the speed limit anymore?
Good point.
It's only the little cars that speed.
Yeah. make sure that you decrease your distractions in your car. Make sure the kids have something to do. You're not on your phone. Make sure you're paying attention to the road, basically.
Traveling down the road to New Philly quite a little while ago, there was a lady eating an ice cream cone in one hand and a phone call in the other. I don't know how she was driving. I think she was. But this is what people
Not smart.
They get in their car at home. They're driving around the corner from my house. They're on the phone already. I'm thinking, gee whiz, could have done that at home.
You see some of the darndest things
I know.
when you're driving.
I just really, it is amazing. So let's talk about distracted driving. Driver, on their way to vacation, they might have children's excited conversation, dogs barking, phones going off. Can you explain what distracted driving is, and how can we get through to people, I guess, on driving with all these distractions?
Distracted driving is operating your motor vehicle while you're engaged in any other activity. Most of the time it's using cell phones. My big thing is to tell people, put down your phone. Your phone's not important, your life is.
Things can happen so fast.
What gets me, people texting while they're driving.
Right.
I don't know how they do it. I've never been able to figure out how to do it.
Well, you shouldn't figure it out, so that's the point.
Figure out how to do it and watch the road. And then,
exactly. Anyway. and if it's that important, pull your car over.
Yeah.
Sure. So, you have patients come through the emergency room with severe sunburns. It's still a little early for them. No, I don't think there's any sunburns at all, are there?
No, not at the moment.
Okay.
There may be some today.
So let's fantasize, and let's say we're going to have some sun this summer, okay? How do we prepare for this, okay?
You should always use sunscreen. And your sunscreen needs to be reapplied more than once. If you're sweating, if you're in the water, it'll wash it away, so you need to reapply it. Wear protective clothing, long sleeve shirts, sun hats, umbrellas. Stay in the shade to avoid getting that sunburn.
I know that the manufacturers of most of these sunburn products or screens, tell you, well, you only need to put it on once a day or whatever, but, you jump in a pool, they're washed off, most of them. And apparently we're going, I haven't seen any yet, but apparently we're going clear up to 100 SPF now, 80 and 100, 90 and 100, and they are much more expensive. But they also have a claim that, these won't wash off, and I can't not see that with any of them. So
right.
So reapply, and reapply.
Right.
Especially the children. Miserable night when they come in all burned up. So.
Yes.
Many of us can't wait to hit the swimming pools and lakes once the weather does break. Safety tips. What do you think?
Never swim alone. Always have a buddy with you. Small children should be supervised at all times. They should only be an arm's length away from you because drownings can happen so fast. And they're quiet. They just are swimming around and they can just go under, and if you're not there to grab them.
I read something the other day, actually, that talked about drownings and that they don't look like what they look like on TV. That it's sometimes very calm, and you wouldn't know it unless you were watching and paying attention. So I thought that was really interesting. So you think about people splashing around and distressed, but that's not always the case, is it?
Right.
So boating safety is certainly another issue, in these kind of summer months. And so what kind of tips do you have in boating rules and regulations? And I know one of the first ones is no alcohol, but and that's many times that's what I see when people are out there just having fun and they're putting away the beer and all that sort of thing. And of course, they're not supposed to be.
Right. Driving a boat's kind of like driving a car, no alcohol. It can be very dangerous having an intoxicated boat driver on the lake. You also need to make sure that you have personal flotation devices readily available for each person on the boat, not stowed away.
Well,
in
and children
the
should be wearing a life vest or whatever. They're far more sophisticated than they used to be. And
right.
Keep them.
So if they're not wearing them, they should be out and readily available. Yeah. But as you said, children should be wearing them. And did you know that children under the age of 10 must wear a life vest?
Well, that's what I thought I heard at one time. Now, I'm not really a boater, occasional once in a while, but I'm not really a boater and don't own a boat. So, but there are other boating issues this summer, particularly on Lake Erie. I guess the lake is way above normal, whatever, and some of the docks are underwater and, that sort of thing. So that's an additional additive to boating safety. I don't know what's cooking Portage Lakes. I mean, there's a bunch of lakes all tied together up there, and it's busy on holiday weekend. So I don't know about the water level and the docks and all that, but docks underwater, you got to hit it. So you didn't know exactly where it was. So we talked about motorcycle safety. I'd like to see him wear a life vest too, a life preserver too. But
protective equipment or gear is always good to have on.
Kevlar vest or something like that.
Yeah. Just looking at things that would make a motorcyclist more visible to people driving would be to have them turn on their headlights. Don't hide behind large vehicles.
Yeah.
Keep their distance from other vehicles. No weaving in and out like you see a lot of people doing on the highway. Use their signals.
Sure. You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy.
You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy and your hosts, pharmacists Paul White and Brad White. Remember, you can get more information right now by visiting medshoprx.com. That's medshop.rx.com. We'll be back with more of Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy in just a moment.
Hi, this is Brad White from the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Perhaps you've gotten the urge to venture outside and clean up the garage or do some yard work, resulting in muscle aches and pains. If you have sore muscles or aching joints, you may want to consider a prescription pain-relieving cream available with a prescription at the Medicine Center Pharmacy. Our pharmacists can work with you and your physician to get topical pain creams that can be rubbed directly on the source, reducing inflammation and pain. Topical creams avoid troublesome side effects and dependency issues that can be caused by oral medications. The Medicine Center Pharmacy has an accredited compounding laboratory, and it is your source for custom medications. Custom compounded pain-relieving creams, available only at the Medicine Center Pharmacy, where wellness begins. Visit us at medshoprx.com for the pharmacy nearest you. That's medshoprx.com.
Men like Paul White love Studio Arts and Glass. Why? We wrap all of his gifts. Gifts like hand-blown paperweights, ornaments, jewelry in stunning sterling silver and precious stones like amethyst and crystals. After 30 years, Studio Arts and Glass is known for creating and restoring stunning stained glass. Just ask Paul White. Studio Arts and Glass on Apple Grove and 77 in North Canton.
The Half Off and Hot Buy store in Louisville just got in a new load of furniture from a major department store. And also lots of new drugstore merchandise from large drug chains. Of course, all this merchandise, furniture, and more is 50% off. And as a special gift to our loyal customers, we're reducing all of our furniture an additional 50% off. That's right, 50% off and an additional 50% off. Don't miss this Memorial Day sale. You'll regret it. The Half Off and Hot Buy store in Louisville. See us on Facebook or halfoffhotbuys.com. We continue to reload the Half Off and Hot Buy store in Louisville with new merchandise. Just in, ladies and girls Levi's, $48 value, $11.99. Beach towels, $5.95, and lots of coffee, K-cups, and more. You won't believe the prices for the Starbucks coffee. Also, we continue our special prices on furniture and many, many toys, health and beauty, laundry detergent, and much, much more. Don't miss this sale. You'll regret it. See us on Facebook or halfoffhotbuys.com. You're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. I'm your host and pharmacist, Paul White. Today, Brad and I are discussing summer safety tips. We've got a lot more to cover this morning, so let's get back to the show.
All right, well, speaking of summer safety and a sunny day like today, let's talk about making sure little kids and, well, big kids too, have their bicycle helmets. What can you tell us about bicycle helmet safety?
Bicycle helmets are very important. They can save a child from having a traumatic brain injury if they are in an accident on their bicycle. They protect the head, obviously, and traumatic brain injuries are something that's not taken lightly, that can be very detrimental to a child.
Okay, we grew up without helmets. We didn't have them. It was sissies if you wore a helmet, okay? I'm growing up. All right, what's the difference? The bicycles now are more sophisticated, or what's the deal?
I don't think it's that. I think that we are more educated on the injuries that can occur when you're on a bicycle and you have an accident, as we were years ago.
Yeah, you go over the, I don't know. I feel like we rode our bikes around on the dirt more when we were in our day, and now you're riding on concrete and cement, and you're watching out for cars when they're texting. And even if, God forbid, you're on a bicycle and get hit by a car, at least you've got that extra protection, hopefully, for your brain and your head. So.
Right, and we as trauma centers look at ways to prevent injuries. So a very good way to prevent traumatic brain injuries in kids would be to have them wear their helmets while they're riding bikes.
Yeah. Okay. Good tips. All right. What about
one more thing, if I could? We're seeing bike paths on our highways now, and in downtown Canton and around Canton, there's a strip to the one side of the road. The library loans bicycles. I don't know if you know that downtown.
I didn't know that.
And I was told by the director that most of them are out during the day. Most of these bicycles. So. What about the bikes paths? Are they making things safer, or?
I would think that they would be making things safer for the bicyclist, because everybody is aware that that's a bicycle path, and that that the bicycle will be in that path, and they know not to drive over that.
I think sometimes on certain streets they kind of take too much away from the highway. And as a sort of a purist, I think people shouldn't be riding the bikes down in this sort of a street anyway. But I guess I'm in the wrong here. So, because they seem to be appearing everywhere.
I think it does make the bicyclist safer when they're in the flow of traffic and they have their own lane.
I guess now that you put it that way, I would think that at least driving down the road, if you see the bike lane painted on the road, you'd think, okay, well, there might be bikes here, whereas before you're thinking, this is a road, it's for cars. So maybe that's an interesting analogy. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah.
So, all right, well, hopefully we have a turn in the weather since today is the first day of summer. Maybe we need to start talking about how to make sure we're careful for heat stroke and heat exhaustion. I was reading an article the other day about an athlete doing some conditioning, and they got heat stroke. So, it doesn't always have to be 95-degree weather, right?
Right.
It can be super high humidity.
Yes.
So
the big thing when it's very hot, very humid, is to keep yourself hydrated. I know my son is a runner. He runs cross country. They start conditioning in July, and he is required to drink so much water every day before he even starts the conditioning, and then keep that up during his conditioning so that he doesn't get dehydrated and have the possibility of heat stroke or heat exhaustion.
What qualifies as a hydrating liquid?
Water.
Okay, I know, that's a simple one, okay?
Yeah. While they're running or during their running, it's water. After their run, they can drink things like Gatorade, Powerade, but water is really the biggest thing for hydrating.
Some of those hydrating products have sugar in them.
Yes.
And so what's that about? It's not healthy.
makes it taste better, right?
It does make
I know
taste
you got to cover the...
I'm not sure about the sugar and its effect on runners.
Well, we can't drink Coke. We can't drink the Coca-Cola drinks, the sugar, heavy sugar products, that sort of thing. That'd be my thinking. I don't know.
Right. And I know that some of the sports drinks do have the no sugar added.
What about the coffee tea thing?
Coffee tea.
Iced
Caffeine
tea,
acts as a diuretic, so it can help to make you more dehydrated.
Sure.
So it's better to drink non-caffeinated beverages.
So we're back to water.
Exactly.
Okay. All right. That's the only thing that stands out as being the hero in that area. So.
Can you touch on some symptoms of heat stroke or heat exhaustion? Because I'm not sure that most people probably understand what that exactly means.
Excessive sweating. They are flushed red. They feel very hot to touch. Something that is more progressed symptom would be if they quit sweating, because then their body's not cooling them down. Sweating helps to cool your body down.
I think you can have some dizziness too, or some disorientation too, right?
Dizziness, some
confusion.
Confusion.
So I think sometimes when you get to that point too, it's best if you've got a friend around, because you may not realize what's going on.
Right.
So.
And they need to probably get you in the shade and help to cool you down a little more quickly.
I guess I'm interested to hear you mention that your son has a protocol for before running and during running. So is that put together by the coaches and their staff, or
yes.
Is that something? Okay. It's nice to hear that, because sometimes I worry that, it's the get off and run faster and go longer, and they, I guess it's a balance to make sure that you're safe yet improving your endurance.
Right.
So, do you see many cases of heat stroke in the ER? Or trauma department?
Not really.
Okay.
Some, but not a whole lot.
Okay. All right.
I live in an allotment that has pretty wide streets. Not the sort of two-lane car thing, but so there's a lot of people who do walk and run and that sort of thing in my neighborhood. In fact, they actually come from other neighborhoods to walk and run in my neighborhood because the streets are so wide. And it seems to me that the most sensible time of the day to walk, run, whatever, is early morning or maybe before dark in the evening, 7, 8 o'clock, something like that. It would also seem to me that certainly minimizes the amount of excess loss of moisture. So what do you recommend we're not going to be one to run in the middle of the day, but some of these Trek kids are out there running around the highways on super hot days. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Yes, and that's why they have these kids that are being coached, high school sports, that type of thing, are coached to also hydrate themselves before they're out there running. I know there's been times when the weather was like 90 degrees and they're out there running, and they're finished running and they're just sweating profusely. Get the liquids in them, start them off with some water slowly so that they don't get nauseated. And
does it make any sense to take a cold shower or anything like that, or is that detriment? If they're, okay, I've been out running, which is ridiculous because I wouldn't be. let's say I'm out running around in 90-degree weather. Okay, I'm really hot sweat. I've consumed a gallon of water. So jump in the shower with cold water?
I would think more tepid. Cold can be a little shocking to you.
Sure. Okay. But is that a solution in any way? Or?
It would help to
cool your skin
down and your body down.
Okay.
Yes.
But not a hot shower.
No.
Okay. So we had one day, this year, about last week, I think when it got warmed up, but it wasn't really hot, but it was like mid-70s or even a little bit higher in the 70s, but the humidity, horrible. Okay. And I can remember, it was about a week ago, and I can remember thinking, my gosh, I'm not used to this. Is this something that we should do every seasonal area, like this northeastern Ohio? Is it something we should do to gradually work our way into that kind of weather? Don't spend much time outside, don't run too much, don't walk too much, and sort of work our way into the heat. And I like the warm days, but I certainly was uncomfortable today.
I don't know that in Ohio there's a way to work yourself into days like that. The weather's so...
Well, what I was thinking was moderation and being out in the heat.
Yeah, yes, you could.
Because I remember cutting the grass and all that sort of thing, and I thought, gee whiz, I'm really hot. But it wasn't hot. It was just super humid.
Yes. In and out would help you.
Outside of the air conditioning, you never go back out again.
That would be me.
That's on a day like that. So. Why don't we take a break here? Okay, you're listening to Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy.
You can get more information right now by visiting medshoprx.com. That's MEDSHOPRX.com. We'll be back with more of Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy in just a moment.
Have you heard about Tap On It? It's a new way to get great coupons on your smartphone from all types of vendors. Hi, Paul White for the Medicine Center Pharmacies. So you text the words Tap On It, that's Tap On It, TAPONIT, 82928. Tap on the link that comes up, and up comes your coupons. The Medicine Center Pharmacy coupons are buy $30 worth of merchandise at the Medicine Center Pharmacy and get $10 off. You can also earn a free first aid kit. This is a great way to save money. Tap on it at the Medicine Center Pharmacy. The Half Off and Out Buy store in Louisville just got in a new load of furniture from a major department store, and also lots of new drugstore merchandise from large drug chains. Of course, all this merchandise, furniture, and more is 50% off. And as a special gift to our loyal customers, we're reducing all of our furniture an additional 50% off. That's right, 50% off and an additional 50% off. Don't miss this Memorial Day sale. You'll regret it. The Half Off and Out Buy store in Louisville. See us on Facebook or halfoffhotbuys.com.
With a heart attack, every second counts. Every moment the blood supply to your heart is cut off or reduced leads to heart damage or death. Mercy Medical Center can stop a heart attack in record time. Mercy is the only hospital in the nation that can open a blocked artery right in the ER, just minutes after arrival, saving lives and preventing further heart muscle damage. That's because Mercy's Emergency Chest Pain Center was America's first to achieve full accreditation and the first to install a fully functional cardiac catheterization lab just a few steps away from our ER doors. The average time in the U.S. from ER arrival to opening of a blocked heart artery is 64 minutes. At Mercy, thanks to our ER cath lab and the area's most experienced emergency heart care team, it's faster. We're capable of opening a blocked artery in as little as 5 minutes. If you have heart attack symptoms, get to Mercy. We can stop a heart attack in record time. To learn more, visit cantonmercy.org/heart.
When we hear the word pharmacy, we think prescriptions, right? Hi, Paul White for the Medicine Center Pharmacies in Stark and Tuscarawas counties, a locally owned Health Mart pharmacy. Of course we carry prescriptions, but our stores carry way more than that. We have a large selection of ostomy and diabetic supplies and compression socks. All of our pharmacies carry a variety of canes, walkers, bath seats, rollators, and commodes, all at super low prices. Our rollators are only $69.95. Call or stop by our local Medicine Center pharmacies in Canton, Louisville, Minerva, and New Philadelphia, where wellness begins. Welcome back to Health Matters at the Medicine Center Pharmacy. I'm your pharmacist, Paul White. Working outside, warm summer weather in moderation, I suppose. How much water do we? I know. How about ice water? Just water.
Normally, for like the runners, when they're running in their races, they give them just water, no ice. Ice can be that cold can be a little shocking to the system.
Is it unhealthy? I've had people tell me it was unhealthy in a hot situation.
It can increase your heart rate more than what it already is. And I don't know that it really does you any good more than just drinking plain water.
But it tastes good. It tastes better when it's
cold.
Yeah.
It sure does.
All right. We're working outside around the house and inside the house and outside the house. We're coming and going in and outside the house. What kind of warnings do you have? Okay, it's 90 degrees outside. Okay. We shouldn't even be outside working,
exactly.
Probably.
You should be in the air conditioning.
Yes.
Make sure that you're aware of your surroundings. If you're up on a roof, make sure that you have somebody out there with you, just in case you would tumble. That person would be able to help you more readily. Make sure that you stay hydrated, obviously. Excuse me.
Working on a roof is a hot job, even in a temperate 70-degree day, with the sun, if the sun's out. So.
Right.
Some of these guys are acrobats, the way they do some of the roofing stuff. And it is amazing to me that more people don't fall off the roof while they're up there working. So, and the shingles are hot; they absorb the heat.
Right.
When they're dark color, black, whatever. So.
And they radiate the heat if you're up there,
Sure.
so it makes you even hotter.
Sure. What about kids and activities outside in this kind of weather? It's hard to get them away from the outside in nice days. It's hard to get away from the pool, even though the pool's cooling. If you have a pool,
Mm-hmm. It's best to keep them, as I said earlier, sunscreen on them. Make sure that they're well hydrated. Children and seniors tend to dehydrate a little more quickly than adults and teens. So they really need to stay hydrated. Keeping them in the shaded areas is best for them, especially the smaller kids, because sunburns can hurt.
What about car safety and keeping your windows down and not leaving your kids or pets in the cars in the winter or in the summer when it's warm?
Yes. Cars tend to get extremely hot when the windows are up and they're sitting in the sun. So small children can really dehydrate quickly and run into major problems if they're left in a car with the windows up. Even you should not leave your kids in a car by themselves, even with the windows down, just for their safety.
I saw one at a grocery store not too long ago. Well, last year actually. Baby in the car. It was hot. Little window cracks. I stood there for a few minutes and didn't see anybody. I picked up my phone to call 911 because it was hot. And this lady came running down the parking lot. But it was a baby. Yeah.
Yeah. And you hear about it so much now with all the news.
You would think it would be a non-event, given how much it's been publicized too. But I guess people are distracted and think something's more important, apparently. But
right,
it doesn't take long. So
no, it doesn't.
What about safety when you're working around the house? Lawnmowers, hedge trimmers, things of that nature. Things that can cut things. I'm thinking awful things in your trauma department at the moment. So.
Exactly. It's really important when you are working with lawnmowers to keep your kids and pets inside. Lawnmower blades spin up to 19,000 feet per second, or 150 to 100 or 200 miles per hour. So if they hit a rock, how fast is that coming out, and how far is that going? It can hit a child across the lawn and injure them severely. So it's best to keep them in the house when you're mowing lawn. Another thing is to keep your children off the lawnmower. They may think it's fun to ride along with you, but if you are on uneven terrain, a hill, whatever, they can fall off. They can be run over, and it just can cause some severe injuries.
I've seen that happen twice, and once in each one of the neighborhoods I've lived in. One kid was mangled.
Yeah, lawnmowers are not toys. They're big machines.
And unfortunately, we recently had a situation where even a trained professional was injured. So it is just when you think you know what's going on, it's always good to practice good safety habits.
Right.
So what do you think about this? I enjoy mowing the yard, but there must be, I don't think anybody in my neighborhood mows their own yard except for one or two other people. It's amazing the number of lawn services that are, working the neighborhood. But I notice, and a tractor, whatever, I notice that it not only the blade, of course, is moving big time, but I notice that there's dust being thrown up. Bugs are maybe being thrown up out of the yard, shrubs of grass, stuff like that. So what kind of safety tips do you have for even pushing behind a mower? Okay. It's just as bad,
Right. You always want to make sure that you check your lawn, that there's no rocks in your lawn, twigs, branches that could be run over, that could become a projectile. Always look for holes, because if you're walking along and you step in that hole, you're going to sprain your ankle and down you go.
Exactly. My tractor stirs up a lot of dust, and of course it's not dusty, but when it's dry, it stirs up a lot of stuff. And so I don't wear glasses normally except to read, and so I finally decided this is kind of crazy after getting some things in my eyes that you really should be wearing safety glasses, or you should be wearing some kind of glasses.
Oh, definitely.
Sunglasses, whatever, maybe even a hat, and maybe even sunscreen. on the back of your neck or on your arms or whatever, legs if you have shorts on, that sort of thing. But the one day, I think this spring, this summer, that we actually have had sun, I actually got a sunburn on the back of my neck. This is crazy. We haven't had any sun, but one day. And all it does is rain. And I'm not going to put sunscreen on the back of my neck. This is stupid,
Well, you can still get a sunburn when it's overcast.
I know. I'm just thinking I'm going to be fearless and strong, and I'm going to go out here and I'm mow the yard. I'm not going to have any sunscreen. Right.
Sunscreen's always good to wear when you're working out and about in your yard. Also, if you have somebody who has lung issues or problems, masks are always good to wear, especially if you're kicking up a lot of dust.
And don't overlook ear protection if it's noisy.
Final words. We're out of time.
I just hope everybody stays safe out there.
You don't want to be busy in the emergency room.
Exactly, but we're always there if you need us.
People come in for poison ivy. Would they actually come into an emergency room?
Occasionally. If it's really bad, they'll come in.
That's amazing. Okay, thanks for coming today.
Oh, thank you for having me.
And enlightening us on many things. Joyce Himebaugh, RN Program Manager, Mercy Trauma Center. We'd like to remind our listeners, if you suspect you have a medical issue, please contact your healthcare provider. Thanks to our sponsors, Mercy Medical Center, Studio Arts and Glass, and of course our technical producer, J.D. DeAngelis. As always, we thank you listeners for joining us on Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy of Healthy Week. See you next week right here on News Talk 1480 WHBC.
Thank you for joining us for this edition of Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy and your hosts, your pharmacists Paul White and Brad White. Remember, you can get more information right now at medshoprx.com. That's medshop.rx.com. Be sure to join us next Friday at this time for Health Matters with the Medicine Center Pharmacy. The preceding program was sponsored by the Medicine Center Pharmacies.